An opener, how does it feel like it now that it's finally here and training camp's behind you and you're what 48 hours away or whatever it is from getting the season started?
It feels wild. The summer went by super fast. Camp went by super fast. I know all the guys are just excited to get out there and hit somebody else, hit some guys in blue, and we're excited. We're extremely excited.
Well, speaking of those guys in blue, as one of the statesmen, one of the captains on this team, how do you go about kind of talking to the younger guys about what this rivalry means and why, sure, it's just another game, but when you're playing those guys in blue, it's not just another game.
Right, it's not, but it's weird with it being our first game. I think that's kind of taken some of the rivalry aspect out of it a little bit because we're so focused on playing that first game and so ready for the first opportunity. I think it kind of has – in the past, it's been kind of a bigger deal. And not saying it's not a big deal, but I think some of that's kind of lost in the, hey, this is our first opportunity. We got to go 1-0. Having that mindset instead of, hey, it's Washburn, it's the Turnpike Tussle. It's kind of weird. It's from all the other years I've been here, it's definitely a little different than it has been.
Certainly in week 1 or week 0, you don't always have a great grasp on what the other team is going to do. What are you expecting in terms of the style of offense they're going to run? They've got a lot of experience back that was thrown into the fire due to injuries last year. What have you guys been talking about in terms of what you're anticipating Washburn will do and what their offense will look like?
I mean, all we can really go off of is what they did last year, right? Like we don't have any prior games this season or anything like that, so it's definitely a little bit different. But they lost a lot of guys, but they brought a lot of young guys back that played. And some of their older guys that didn't play last year because they were so banged up, we're gonna see that they didn't get a whole lot of snaps last year. So it's kind of a new team without it being a new team. They, like you said, a lot of young guys, which is they necessarily didn't have the MIAA experience last year, but now they have it. So trying to kind of figure out who's going to be where, like especially their offensive line as a defensive lineman. Like they lost almost everybody up front, but a lot of their guys had played snaps, so where are they going to be, where are they going to be positioned, and stuff like that we're trying to figure out that we don't know yet. So,
Rafe, what do you feel? I know it's early on, but what do you feel the defense is sitting now as you prepare to get into game night?
I think we're prepared pretty well. I think we have a really good game plan for what we think they're going to do. Again, like Blake just said, we don't know exactly what that is. We try to have a good idea off of what they've done in the past, but I like where we're at defensively. I think we've got some good depth in some positions and got a lot of older guys on defense too, which has been good. I mean, 4 of our 6 captains on defense is a positive thing for us. A lot of leadership, a lot of guys that have played some snaps, but then there's some that haven't played a ton. So just trying to get those guys comfortable and ready for game 1.
And then you have no week 0 this year, maybe starting the season a week earlier. Is there anything to that for you guys getting into game action earlier, or are you just going to take it like another game?
I think just take it like another game. We kind of everything. It feels the same to me. I mean, the fall camp was the same length, just because everything was just moved up. Yeah, the summer was cut a little bit short, a week short, but other than that, it doesn't really feel much different. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad we're out of fall camp and excited to go against somebody else.
That's the fun one. How's your golf game since media day?
I haven't played a lot, but media day, I was still playing pretty good then. Actually, Tyler Coleman and I played not long after media day, and I had actually the best round of the summer. So I haven't played since then. I kind of let it ride after that, and I'll just end the summer on a good note.
So let's get with Coach Higgins, man. Obviously, he's no stranger to winning football games. And what's his energy like? And now that you know who's going to be under center now, so what's it like having his energy and just 2 days away from the season start?
It's been good. I've been with Coach Higgins a long time. He hasn't changed much since I first got here. He's the same energetic guy, and I think our team feeds off of that. I think we really do. We want to practice good. That's his expectation. We're going to come out, have good practice habits, that kind of thing, and then just feeding off of him has really been key. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's had a bunch of success in this league, beat almost every team in this league multiple times. So just he knows what he's doing. We just got to trust it and then go play on Thursday night.
Caroline, do you have anything?
Yep, I got one more.
What's the message been from Coach Higgins as you guys get ready, not just, for the season opener, but for Washburn? Is that any kind of, does this message differ when it's a rivalry game, just kind of trying to get you guys hyped up to get things kicked off?
I don't really think so. I think it's more we're worried about ourselves. We know that we're capable of beating anybody in this league. We just have to go and execute our game plan and do what we do. I don't think there's anything as far as worrying about a certain team, especially with it being early in the year. Like, we just have to go execute what we want to do, and we should be pretty successful if we just follow that game plan all year long.
Washburn coming up. It's a little bit – well, it's the first time it's ever happened that this game has happened in August. What's it like to open up with the arch rival to begin the year?
Yeah, I mean, it just adds the excitement of game one. You're already amped up to go finally play. You've been working all off season, and it just adds to the excitement for sure. You're just ready to get out there and go.
How important has this week been, now that the starting quarterback has been named, to get more reps with Gunner and try to get that timing down now that you know who the starter is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, offense is all about timing, so it's huge. Just getting that starting group all cohesive and on the same page. It's definitely crucial, especially with how much tempo we play with.
Sherman, you guys up front, I know, new quarterback, but the offensive line's all back. How is that going to maybe help having everyone back up front?
Yeah, I mean, experience is always great, no matter where you're at. But hopefully, we absolutely expect to go play great on Thursday, and no matter who's behind us, we're going to do the best we can to keep them upright and run the football.
And then with new, I guess just with camp, do you guys feel ready getting the game action right now, or where do you guys feel that?
Yeah, absolutely, we're ready to go. This is what you do it for. Off season's a grind and everything, but it all comes down to this, and we're pumped and ready to go.
Just Washburn, man, when you think about how close you are and when you think about this game, does it mean more to some of these guys who are from Kansas, or that you've played against this team for so long? What is it about this game that's just maybe different from others?
Yeah, I mean, a lot goes into it. Yeah, I've played them 3 times now. This will be my 4th time. Yeah, it means a little bit more in Kansas. It means a lot to the alumni. It's one of the oldest rivalries in Division II. So it just means a lot to everybody, and you can feel that every time we play them. It's not just another week. We take it serious and always ready to go for sure.
Do you have any friends on the team over at Washburn?
I don't. I'm from Colorado, so it's nothing like that, but I know a lot of guys do. So.
And like with Coach, I asked earlier about his energy. What's it like? You've played with him, Coach, for a couple of years now. What's his energy like when it's always game one or just whatever game they're playing?
Coach Higg?
Yeah.
Coach Higg's energy is always there, especially in practice. You saw him yesterday sweating and everything. He gets after it, no question. But we love his energy, his passion for no matter who we're playing. He definitely brings the energy in practice, and it is contagious throughout the whole team.
I'll say one more last thing. When I saw him up on the top ledge where the press box is at, is it funny to see him up there coaching when he got his headset on?
Yeah, it's different. You just all of a sudden you hear something behind your back, and with BG as a coach now, he definitely gets to have a different perspective of it, which I think is good. So he can really see the whole team, coach throughout the whole team a little differently. So it's been good. Yep.
Caroline?
Yep, one more for you. Does the message from Coach Higgins change, or is anything different just about the combo of it being the season opener and the fact that it's your in-state rival Washburn, or is it all the same?
Every game there's definitely a different message, but yeah, rivalry games you got to bring it. It means more to them. It means more to us. So the energy is a little different. I don't know. The message is completely different, but you definitely have to strap it up a little bit because it means more to both of us, so we're going to come out with our best.
All right.
Sweet.
Thanks, sir.
Yep,
Appreciate
you bet.
it, man.
Thank you, guys.
Exactly what offense they're going to run, exactly what defense they're going to run. What are you anticipating in terms of their offense that has a lot of guys that were thrown into the situation where they maybe weren't ready last year, but I know that Coach Sherman is hopeful that they gained some experience last year.
Yeah, I think you got to be prepared for anything, but I do believe both programs, offensively and defensively, both programs have both coordinators back. Everybody changes a little bit because you just try to improve. And a lot of times the improvements that you need to make, you're going to look at those during spring football. So, you know, I mean, yes, we expect for them to be able to, I mean, want to run the football, and they're going to utilize a fullback. I mean, one of their good players is their fullback, and you know, for us, we're a little bit different, and you know what our identity's about. We're not going to change that. So, it's really, you always got to, like I said, you got to prepare for everything. It's just really even the scouting part. Like when you get into a season, you can kind of look at, you know, maybe what they're going to do on third down and things like that. But this is a whole new season, so things may be a little bit different. So a lot of times you got to run whatever you're doing offensively and defensively. And I look at it as if you have a sound system, your rules are going to save you. And then you got to have guys make plays. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changes between either of us, you know. So I don't think they're going to come out and be in the flex bone or anything. I hope not. But, you know, so and we're going to do what we're going to do.
Obviously, what you're going to do predicates the use of a really good quarterback. You announced your guy this week, and I know that you're happy and excited about all 4 quarterbacks you have in the room, and you had 3 that separated themselves. In your mind, what made the difference to make Gunnar Gundy the guy over the other 2, even though you're, like I said, happy with all 3, but if there's one thing you could point to, what do you think is the difference?
I think it's just the amount of how far he's come along in really a short period of time. Blake, I think that that's what we looked at and said, all right, he's at, you know, 16, 17 practices or whatever it was when we made the decision. And comparing where he's at with that limited amount of time, we just felt like moving forward, that was the best thing, you know, for us. And that's not to take anything away from the other players or the other quarterbacks by any means, you know. So, and then, you know, they also know that, hey, as we continue to progress, I mean, I'm a big believer in you pick your starting quarterback and you go with him. I'm not one of those guys, and I know I talked a little bit about earlier in camp the possibility of playing two quarterbacks, but, you know, I don't necessarily like that. That's just my philosophy. I think that I don't want – and then I also mentioned to Gunnar, hey, I don't want you looking over your shoulder all the time too. Like if we come out and struggle, I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. I mean, 10's not back there. All right, he's not. So like, and we told Gunnar we don't expect him to be 10. You know, be you. And it's our job as coaches to develop a game plan that is going to fit him and the things that he's comfortable with doing. That's huge. I mean, anytime somebody's comfortable, they're going to have a lot of confidence. So I think that's, you know, I kind of get out in the weeds a little bit. But I will tell you that that's kind of what tipped the deciding factor, was just kind of where he was at in a short amount of time.
Washburn defensively, they've got a couple of guys on the defensive line that they've lost to graduation. They bring back a couple of their top tacklers. And again, it's an inexact science on week 0 knowing exactly how they're going to line up. But what do you anticipate are going to be the ways that might decide the game as you attack their defense and they try to slow you guys down?
Well, again, I think it goes back to what I said earlier. Everybody's going to have a few things differently maybe than they've done to improve. But I don't think they're going to get away from their base style of defense. Now, you know, teams do play us differently at times where they are in a 4-down front or an odd. Sometimes we see a little bit more odd. And, you know, I don't – you know, it's our job as coaches, you know, we prepare for both. And, you know, our defense runs at odd, so we've been able to get a lot of good looks at that, you know, throughout the course of camp. So that's kind of what I expect, you know, and I'm sure, you know, going against a brand new starting quarterback for us could be a little bit different for them, you know, because number 10's not back there, you know. So again, that's the one of the exciting things about the first game is that. But then also just, you know, my biggest concern is just making sure guys, when the lights come on, and it is our first game, everybody's ready. They are going to be ready. We're going to be ready to play. Is not getting out of our own skin and doing things differently than what we've been doing during camp, and just play, keep your identity, stay with your identity.
Coach, I think if I'm right, Gunner's a left-handed QB. Does having Braden on the sidelines help you with the comfort of having a lefty out there?
It does. I do. I believe that, because I've always been in recruiting quarterbacks. I used to not really recruit left-handed quarterbacks. But that's changed. All right. Because I'm a big footwork guy, and you have to do things opposite. So you have your right-handed guys are going to do footwork a certain way, your left-handed guys a certain way. So now having Coach Gleason, I just, like it's easy, he can just do it. Hey, there's how the left-handed guy does it right there. So, but yeah, I think not only that is important, but also just having the quarterback coach who has done this offense. He's been in this offense for 6 years, and he speaks the same language that I do. And it's helped me become a better head coach, because now I can go bother some other positions a little bit. They might be a little bit more upset with that I'm not just with the quarterbacks all the time. So yes, I do think that helps.
And having a week 0 now, everything's kind of pushed up earlier. Is there anything to that, or are you just going to kind of go out there and play like any other game?
Yeah, we just go out. Nothing really to it. The only thing is going to be nice is when we get to week 7. I think it's week 7 is we have an open date. And yesterday at Hornet Talk, Tyler Common mentioned the fact he's been here, he's going on his 6th year, and he's never had an open date. So that will be something. So that to me is one of the positive things about having week 0. It's still week 1 to me. It doesn't change that fact. So, but as far as like preparation and things like that, nothing different.
Just maybe the relationship that you have with Coach Sherman. Obviously, you guys have been going at it for many, many, many years. And what's it like, having a coach where you guys kind of know each other's style and the relationship that you guys have maybe on and off the field? Yeah,
I have a lot of respect for Coach Sherman. I think he's from when he got to Washburn and to where he's at now, what he's done with that program. He's, we're all very competitive once the season starts, okay? But there are guys such as Coach Sherman that has been in this league. He's been in this league longer than me, and you do begin to ask, like I've called him up and asked him questions. Like during COVID, he was one of the guys I was talking to see what they were doing and, all that. So you can bend a guy like that. You can bend his ear a little bit. I think that we're very similar in the type of programs that we do try to build, where, we're always going to start with our ingrown talent and our homegrown talent, and then kind of just blossom from there. I think we're just similar in that identity. Yeah, we do things differently offensively and defensively, but we're very similar in the type of kids that we want in our program, and just tough-minded kids. Sometimes those players are from a small Kansas high school, and they end up being, the longer they're there, they get developed, and, they become really good players. So a lot of similarities, but, the only thing I haven't done with Coach Sherman, we've talked about it before, is go play golf sometime, in the summertime. But we haven't made that happen yet.
Well, Coach, and obviously this game, of course, too, there's, with you said, the homegrown talent, obviously this game probably means a lot more to the Kansas kids, obviously. And so when you play Washburn every year, just how exciting is it for you as a coach, and what do you maybe tell them, or what's the importance of this game? I know every game's important, but especially with Washburn. Yeah,
I think that's a simple answer. I mean, honestly, it doesn't. We're not going to yell any louder in our pregame speech. We're not going to. I mean, everybody knows that it's our rival, but it's the first game, so it is a little bit different. Because I always say this, that everybody is always going to go out and give their best effort in the first game, because no adversity has hit yet. You're not at your 7th game of the year where you could have had injuries and struggled. Similar to, think about where Washburn was at the beginning of the year last year. They got their starting quarterback hurt, and that changes a lot for a team. So, and we played them later on in the year. So, like if a team is struggling, then the mindset might be a little bit different playing a game. It shouldn't be, but just naturally it might be, right? So, like this game, not anything any different because it's the first game. I know we sound cliche-ish, but it's all about taking one game at a time, and it really truly is. I mean, you don't want to get ahead of yourself in this league because we've done that before and gotten beat. So every team is good in this league. It is a brand new season. You throw the records out from last year, and you know, I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I look forward to the game.
Caroline?
Yeah, one more for you, Coach.
You bet.
What's the message to the guys right now? Both the guys we just talked to said it doesn't really change, even though there is a rivalry game. It is week 1, but what have you been telling these guys to get them ready for Thursday?
Well, I think, you know, that one of the things is just play the way they're coached to play the game and don't change. I think we have great leadership on this team. I really do. I think we have a lot of veterans back from last year. I think they understand the importance of this game because it's our first game. I mean, and then our guys have worked really hard. They've committed. I mean, like this summer was probably and again, I know a lot of coaches say this and all that, but like just the amount of work these guys have put in from when we won the bowl game up until now. I mean, that's a lot of time invested, and you know, make that pay off. And you guys got to go out and earn it, no matter what. Just because you did it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You got to go out and earn it against a good football team. So, and you better be ready to play. And which I believe that they will be. So that's kind of been the message. You know, I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot to be said going into the first game. Really, it's just the mindset of playing smart on special teams, eliminating stupid penalties, not turning the ball over, things like that you worry about. You know, we go live during camp, but it's not like we're going live a lot. Like so it's different. I know after the first play, everybody's going to be wanting to get oxygen that's out there on the field playing. So anyway, you just got to, you know, fight through it and work hard and you know, and just play the game the right way. And again, do not get outside yourself to where you're doing things that like, what are you doing? We don't coach that. And those are the things I worry about as you know, always going into the first game.
Thank you.
You bet.